you sick of paying for unhealthy food? Are you sick of fast food day in and day out? Do you wish you knew how to cook, but don't know your way around the kitchen? Well, take a seat, because you're about to get a lesson in cooking. Welcome to Cooking for College 101.
Hello everyone, my name is Gogna and I want to welcome you to Cooking for College 101. Each week we're going to bring you a new recipe that's easy to make, doesn't require a lot of time, and doesn't require a lot of money. So I hope you stick around and enjoy the delicious meal we're about to make. Alright guys, remember, first and foremost, the most important thing, wash your hands. You don't know where your hands have been, this is college. So take some soap, under some warm water, wash your hands for about 20 seconds, probably as long as it takes for you to sing happy birthday. Today we'll be making an Asian stir fry that's all natural and preservative free. As always, our meals will take less than 20 minutes and will average out being less than $3 a person. It will probably be faster and healthier to make this meal than it will take for you to get in your car and go to a fast food restaurant. So here's what's on the shopping list. Alright, now let's start talking specifics. When you get to the grocery store, pick up a basket. You won't need a cart. You'll be surprised to see how few ingredients you will need to make this delicious meal. Let's start talking about the average prices of vegetables. First vegetable, you'll need a red cabbage, typically about $1.50 for a medium size. Next, you'll need a red Spanish onion, about 79 cents. Third, you'll need a bag of chopped coleslaw. Simply, you'll find it right next to the aisle of salad and lettuce, typically about $2 a bag. And last but not least, you'll need fresh green beans, which is usually about 79 cents a pound. Next on the list, you'll need instant packaged brown rice, running at about $2 a package. You'll also need thinly sliced top sirloin steaks, running about $4.99 a pound, and if you see right here, I have about 8 slices at $3.75. You'll also need a package of 6 eggs, running at about $1, and you'll also need a handful of chopped peanuts, running in at about 50 cents. Alright, now let's talk spices. They are an investment, but all powdered spices can last you up to an entire year. In your cupboard, you should always keep a package of powdered garlic, powdered paprika, a bottle of extra virgin olive oil, and some red wine vinaigrette. Here's a good rule. When you're cooking with vegetables and meat, you always want to chop all your vegetables first. That way, when you're using the same knives and cutting board with the meat, you're not contaminating your vegetables or anything else with the raw meat. Let's start with chopping up our purple cabbage. Remember, when choosing a cabbage, you want to choose a cabbage that doesn't have leaves that are wilting, and if you palpate it, it isn't mushy or like you can't really squeeze it on any other end. You want to chop about half a cup of cabbage into bite-sized pieces using a sharp knife, and again before chopping any of your meat. Let's put this aside in a bowl for use later. Next, we're going to begin chopping up your red onion. Now, I know everyone hates chopping up red onions, it makes your eyes water, but no meal is good or complete without a chopped red onion. We're going to chop them up into tiny chopped pieces. And be careful with your hands. And then we're going to put it in a bowl to add into the oil in just a few minutes. Next up, we're going to chop the steak. Here we have the top sirloin steak, about 8 slices. I'm going to put it onto the chopping board. Now remember, you can use any type of meat. You can use shrimp, you can use chicken. I decided to go with beef today because it was on sale, and that's what college students need to look for. You want to chop this into thin slices. Sometimes your steak is a little bit harder to chop than most meats. Again, if you're using shrimp, you don't really need to chop anything. You can get them freshly cooked, already cooked. You just warm them up on the skillet. And with chicken, you can get them thinly sliced as well. It's just a little bit more expensive. Alright, let's get this place cleaned up a bit. We're going to move the meat into a bowl. Again, we want to chop about 3 to 4 eggs. Eggs are good for you. Use them up. They're cheap, they're healthy, they're all natural. Good for your hair, for your eyes. And they make a lot of meals complete. Now that we chopped about 5 eggs in here, we're gonna whip it. And then we're gonna add a dash of salt, a dash of paprika, and a dash of garlic. Here we go. Now that it's all whipped. Again, you wanna be careful about not contaminating anything, so keep everything clean. We're gonna add about a dash of garlic. Now, if you don't like garlic, you can go easy on the garlic. I'm a personal favorite of garlic. Add about, a handful of chopped onions and about a dash of salt. After doing that, again, take that fork and whip it up just a little bit more. Last but not least, we're going to chop these peanuts. Adding chopped peanuts to almost every Asian meal makes it a really good touch. I know most college students don't have mortar and pestles. Sometimes you guys don't even have blenders. So we're going to chop these peanuts with your very own favorite statistics book. Just don't tell your stats teacher this is what I'm doing. So first, let's add these peanuts in a plastic bag. You want to close it tightly, that way we don't have any peanuts flying out. Try not to have any air in the bag, otherwise the bag is just going to pop. Take your stats book and let out all the anger you have from classes, all those failed stat exams, and you wind up with perfectly chopped peanuts. Alright, now that we moved over to the stove, the first thing that we want to cook is the rice. You'd be surprised to know that the longest part of this entire cooking process is probably boiling the instant rice. So we want to take 1 3/4 cup of water and add it to a pot, and then turn the stove on to a medium-high. Now that the water is boiling, we're going to add the rice in, and we're going to cover it and allow it to come to a boil again. So you want to add a cover to the pot, and it should come to a boil within a couple minutes, and as soon as it comes to a boil, we're going to put it on to medium-low. So here's how we're going to conserve our time. While the water for the rice is boiling, we're going to take another pan and add some oil in here and wait for it to heat up while we add our garlic and onions. So let's add about 2 tablespoons of oil, enough to cover the bottom of the pan. Remember, olive oil is very good for you, so it's okay if you use a little bit more than you should. Now with our chopped onions, we're going to add about a nice little handful into the pot, allowing the onions to sizzle. You want to stir it up a bit. And as you start to hear it sizzle and it turns brown, we're going to add about a tablespoon of garlic. Garlic powder works perfectly fine, and it's cheaper and easier to have around. We're going to add a dash of paprika, just for a little spice. If you want, you can add green chili, red chili sauce, anything to give it a little kick, and then a dash of salt. When you start to see the onions browning a little bit, you can go ahead and take your egg mixture that we just made, and we're going to add it to the pot. It smells good, lots of onions. It's going to give a really good kick to the stir fry. So when you start seeing that egg mixture is turning a little bit lighter, you know that the eggs are beginning to cook. Take your spatula, you want to scramble a little bit, make pieces nice and small, that way it blends in perfectly with the stir fry. It smells great, the onions are looking cooked, so everything looks awesome. Alright, we're going to let this sit for a bit, let it cook from the bottom, and then we're going to start scrambling it. In the meantime, let's go check on our rice, which is on a low heat right now. Looks good, it should be ready. Now it is time starting on the meat. We'll simultaneously take another pan, and we're going to, again, same thing, adding about 2 tablespoons of extra olive virgin oil. So adding our garlic, watching it sizzle, and then we're going to add about another handful of chopped onions. Onions are good. We've seen a lot of it today, and trust me, you're going to like it. And then, as this heats up, stir around the oil a bit. And then we're going to add in our chopped meats. Now, since we're using beef, it's important not to cook it all the way. And just cook until it's a light brown on both sides. Alright, now I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of paprika on top. And stir it around just a bit. Beef cooks really quickly. Just stir it around, shouldn't take more than 3 to 4 minutes. And here's the key here. Before it's about 60% done, and you still see a little bit of red, we're going to add about a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. Start to smell the meat a little bit. It's gonna cool down. And it's gonna cook with the soy sauce, seeping into the meat. All right. When you see it about 90% done, you're gonna turn it on to low. And you're gonna add in your cooked eggs. And those vegetables we just chopped, time to add them in. Right, so we'll take our chopped coleslaw, add it in, give this stir fry some color, adding in the green beans. We're gonna add some oil and some red wine vinegar, and then top it off with some soy sauce. The reason why I didn't want you to cook the meat all the way is because while this is all heating up, you don't want to get your meat too dry. So we're going to stir it a bit, adding some soy sauce, a little bit of red wine vinegar. You usually can find red wine vinegar almost at any grocery store. And it usually runs pretty cheap, just about as cheap as white vinegar, maybe about $1.50 a bottle. And if you don't have red wine vinaigrette, go ahead and use some red wine. It tastes just as great. Just make sure you're over 21. And turn the heat up a little bit. You want the cabbage, the part of where you're looking for it to be cooked is looking at the cabbage. When you see the cabbage wilting a little bit, becoming softer, you know that your stir fry is done. Has a lot of color, has a lot of flavor. It's gonna be good. When the cabbage looks a little bit wilted, looks like it's done, we're gonna add our chopped peanuts. Again, always a great touch. Sprinkle over top. When the peanuts are in there, we're gonna stir the stir fry a little bit until it's nicely mixed. And it's ready to serve. Hope you enjoy it. It's done, it looks colorful, it smells great. Take a look at that. Nice and colorful, healthy. Rice is done too. And remember, under $10, we made enough to serve 4 people. A delicious and healthy meal. No grease, no fat, no nothing. Just pure, natural, preservative-free meal for you to cook at home in under 20 minutes. And so, let's give this a try. If it's great, we'll take it down to campus and see what all the students think of it. And if you want, you can add a little bit of hot sauce. Depends on how you feel. Looks great. Lots of vegetables, just the way I like it. See how it tastes. Mmm. Really good. All right, you ready to see what kids on your college campus thought? Let's go.
This is Stefano, a biomedical science major at the University of South Florida.
This was really good, man.
Wasn't it great? This is Darius, a chemistry major at the University of South Florida. How'd it taste?
That was delicious.
Wasn't it good?
Yeah.
This is Gabby. She's a special education major at the University of South Florida.
That's really good.
Wasn't it delicious?
Really good.
This is Alexis. She's a microbiology major at the University of South Florida.
Wow, that was really good.
Wasn't it delicious?
Yeah.
Would you like some more?
Yeah.
This was delicious, actually. I'm not gonna
Now,
lie.
what if I told you you can make that for only $3 a person?
I think you're lying to me.
I'm not lying to you. What if I told you that meal was only $3 a person?
$3 a person?
That's right, $3 a person.
It's really
Now,
good.
what if I told you you can get that for only $3 a person?
I'd be really surprised. It's really good and I'd ask for it.
Well, what if I told you right now you can get more of that for only $3 a person?
Where?
Oh, man. Where can I get some of this, man?
Well, you can find this meal and many more at Cooking for College 101. Watch Cooking for College 101.
Not bad.
I know, right? I know.
I'm Gogna, and thanks for watching Cooking for College 101. I hope that you learned something new today, and I also hope that you'll implement what we learned in your own cooking in your own kitchen. I hope to see you next week when we learn how to make falafel and tzatziki. I'll see you later. Time for class.